Welcome back to the Football Terrace. Liverpool's Centurion dream is over. This is that Liverpool show. First podcast in a week covering this. We've got a nice variety of guests tonight. We are going to review the game, and then we're going to go into talk a little bit deeper about Liverpool. But as the question is saying, have Liverpool burnt out? That's the question I'm asking tonight. It's not a statement. It's a question. We're going to share the link later for more of you to come and join the show and come and have your say. But first of all, hit the like button, hit the share button. Don't get triggered. Grow some thicker skin. Don't get triggered. Get involved with the debate. We've got the panel ready here. What's happening, everyone? You all good? Sweet as Adam Charles, I want to come to you first. I know you've got to shoot off pretty soon. Just start with Arsenal here. You created one chance in the game, but you won 2-1. I can't say I've ever seen a result like this when big teams have played each other. How you feeling right now, bro?
It is what it is. That's what I'm saying, bro. It is what it is. Because really and truly, when we played Tottenham, we played better than them, but we still lost. That's the game. The game is the game. We didn't play well. We had two sloppy chances from Liverpool's two best players, by the way. Virgil van Dijk, the best defender in the world, who tried to call for a foul. And we took our chances, and that's the be all and end all of it. I like seeing Arsenal win ugly because it doesn't happen very often. And quite frankly, I hope to see many more results like this. And you know what I love even more? That now Arteta has won over Klopp. That's what I love. There's a 100% record against Klopp. Arteta is a fantastic manager. I've been screaming it from the very moment he stepped foot in this club. And yeah, I can't wait to see where he takes us.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, were you enthused by the performance tonight, or was it just one of them games where you don't care how you did it, you did it?
Terry, let's not talk about that, man. It's not really relevant. Let's not do that. Sometimes you have to win ugly. And obviously when we get better players and, Arteta gets to work with the team that little bit more, we'll be able to win and win expansively, because ultimately that's what we want to see at Arsenal Football Club. Today, obviously, we weren't able to do that. And he's working with the tools that he has at his disposal. And I don't blame him for doing that. I think that's the reason why we keep playing three at the back, because David Luiz, whether you like it or not, is probably up there with our best defenders, and the best system to get him playing is three at the back, putting him in the middle. So he's doing what he can, and if that means we have to win ugly sometimes, then so be it. The fact is we're getting the results, and we can see that at other times, unlike Emery, we are actually playing decent football, and there's a decent foundation to build off of. I just want to make sure that Arteta gets the players he wants so that he can start bleeding them in and making sure that he does what he needs to do, because honestly I do think that we can do good things.
And I want to mention one player before you can stay for as long as you need to after that. I just want to ask you this. Lack of threat with a goal yes. and an assist tonight. You know what I mean? He almost I feel like Lacazette like space jammed Alisson and Van Dijk tonight, because they had lack of awareness, and I've nicked it off KJ.
Lack of awareness
for those goals. I mean, were you proud of him stepping up tonight and getting a goal and assist against the best team in the world?
Yeah, the best team in the world. Don't make me laugh. This team that can't even get 100 points. They're out of every competition. they're what? They won the Premier League. They're the best. Like, okay, Trent can cross. Naby Keita, apparently he played well tonight as well. It's just crazy. Like, sometimes I just wonder, like, what are Liverpool fans on? Like, what did they do? Like, do they?
I get that. I'm gonna go to Bizzo here. Bizzo, welcome to the channel. First time coming on, mate. I appreciate it. We're gonna delve more into where Liverpool are at in the grand scheme of things at the minute, because my mind is literally, I feel bipolar about the subject right now. 1 minute I go, nah, that'll be fine. The next minute I'm thinking, that could be over. But in terms of tonight's performance, are you a bit shell-shocked that you dominated the game that much, but you've walked away with nothing?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's disappointing to watch, especially with how things gone as a season as a whole, of how early we've won it and stuff. It's just a shame that we seem to be faltering against. Well, no disrespect to Arsenal, but they weren't the best team. They weren't the best team tonight, and we deserved a lot more from that game, in my opinion, for sure. Yeah.
No, I hear that, mate. And Stro, how about yourself? I mean, we've had a lot of chats. You seem to be one of the more honest Liverpool fans that in the last sort of before lockdown and post-lockdown, you've been a little underwhelmed with the way you've been performing, the way you've been playing. Was tonight just another example of that?
Yeah, this is the problem with us since just before lockdown, and obviously since lockdown is you've seen it. We have the chances, and we're just not putting them away for whatever reason. And this is the problem. It's then you look at Salah's not having a great game. Firmino's not having a good game. Who'd you bring on for him? Origi, Shaqiri, like they're not game changers. And it comes down to my whole point, which I made from the beginning, is listen, our 11, like it or not, United fans, City fans, Arsenal fans, Chelsea fans, it's the best 11 out there, and we proved that this season. When you go delving into our squad, the depth isn't there, and it's not good enough. So we need to go out and recruit. Letting Werner go for me was always a mistake, regardless of whatever financially, what you can do, what you can't do, or what the club were willing to do. They should have just funded the deal because he is a game changer. Thiago is exactly the same.
This Liverpool fan follows me on Twitter, and someone just sent me a screenshot of what he just tweeted, Flex. And I want to point this out because if you follow this guy, unfollow him and report him right now. This is what Flex has just been tweeted by a Liverpool fan. This guy, if you follow this dude here,
oh no, man,
report the man straight up. By the way, I don't even know if he's a Liverpool fan. He could just be trolling from that account because he follows me. He did a thing to me yesterday. He was calling me out saying, "Oh, why do you follow the Sun?" And I'm like, "Well, I follow most newspapers because I want to see what they're saying." He's a bit of a troll, but if you are following him, at the very least, block the geezer. Don't be involved with that dude. And I blocked him yesterday, and he set up another account, and he messaged me saying, if you keep blocking me, I'll keep making new accounts and coming after you. So clearly a troll, but just block him so you ain't got to see any of that nonsense and report it as well, please. And that's why Twitter ID everyone who wants an account, and then no one can do that because they're going to be arrested up straight away. Agal, you're a goon. I need to come to you. How are you feeling right now? Because that for me just feels like I don't know quite how to put this. It was you got beat down. You had your head taken off, but you've got 3 points. How?
We seen what Tottenham did to us last week, and we basically we took notes and we brought that to this game. Even though we were at home, we let Liverpool have the possession. We had 2 banks of 4, as I said. We played with the 2 strikers, split them. So we tried to pin at least one of their wing backs at all times. And the thing you got to see today, Liverpool, they had a howler. Let's be honest. Man was moving like Kepa was in goal, and the next man and David Luiz was Virgil van Dijk lookalike today. I don't know what was going on, but I'll tell you this: this doesn't happen all the time. I'm gonna cherish this win and just say we don't beat Liverpool all the time. Today I'm happy, but at the end of the day, I did call it. It was my heart saying it. It wasn't my head, but I'm happy. And Terry, one thing I'll tell you is Arsenal. If we win the next 2 games, and we finish the season a little bit stronger, I'm not even worrying about City in the FA Cup. I don't think we're going to beat City. If we beat them, it's fool's gold. But at the end of the day, if we can win our next 2 games and push on for next season, and if we get Europe, I'm going to be pissed off. I don't want Europe. I want Arteta to drill these guys week in, week out next year and focus on top 4 and build that way. Because if we get Europa League, I feel like it's a distraction and it's just going to hurt us, Terry.
But the problem is you can't do what you've just said and win the remaining games and then not get Europe.
We could.
It's going to happen.
2 points difference.
Yeah, no,
you're gonna hope everyone else around you.
Yeah, isn't like that. We've got a few super chats. First one from Jimmy. He says in 2000s, in the 01 season, United won the league with 5 games left, and then went on to win 1, draw 1, lose 3. If you don't expect a drop-off, you're deluded. Yeah, but on that, mate, we then didn't go on and win the league the year after that, bro. That's the point I'm making. That the next season we didn't retain it.
Man said bigger picture. He says bigger picture, fam.
Jimmy, you've literally proven what a lot of people are saying. Liverpool ending the season weekly. I want to go yourself on that, Bizzo. Do you have any concerns right now, generally? So from March until now, I think you've lost 6 or 7. I'll look it up officially. Since March, since the Atletico defeat, you've lost 6 games, drawn 2 games in the space of about 10, 11 matches. And your performances haven't been stellar. Do you have any concerns at all?
Not in terms of the league form. I always thought this was going to happen because obviously for a City or a Man United to win the league at this with in recent years and us to have gone so long without it, I do genuinely think like the players are suffering from a bit of a hangover. They've obviously celebrated it a bit too much, and there's a bit of lethargicness coming back into the squad in these games that they're playing. They're not playing anywhere near the form in which they were prior to winning the league. I don't think. I think the likes of Joe Gomez and Trent, when they first came back, their performances on the first game were really poor. Virgil van Dijk made an unforced error, which was his second one in 82 games, I think they said tonight. So I do think they are getting just a little bit. They're definitely taking the foot off the gas. They were saying it on the telly tonight. They were saying that the players they're not as hungry to win the ball and to go after it. And I do agree with that. Like Mane's walking off the pitch at half time and we're 2-1 down, and he's smiling and talking to the players. Whereas if that was a game prior to winning the league, I think he'd be so focused and he'd be straight down the tunnel, straight back out, and he'd be wanting to cause mayhem when he comes back out after the restart. And I think that's the difference for us at the moment. I think because in the back of their head they know the job's done. Like you see the concentration levels of that squad through this season, that the unit as a whole, not just defence but midfield and attack, they were so regimental, and you can tell that it's like kind of like breaking away a little bit now, and that's why we're leaking goals.
I feel like I expected that. I said to quite a few people that were playing Liverpool in this run-in that it could be a good time to play them. I also think it's a good time to play City. Look what Bournemouth almost did to City at the end of their game today. They had so many chances because City are not playing for anything in the Premier League. You're always going to drop off a bit. The concern for me would come from the fact, though, that it's a long period of time that you're going to have where you've had your foot off the gas, and losing or not playing well can become a habit, the same as winning does. And that would be the concern. I'm only quoting very successful league winners here, like Ryan Giggs, who said that the one thing they were never allowed to do at Man United was to rest on their laurels. They'd win like league cups, and he said like some of the younger players used to get upset because a friend of theirs would be at another club, had won it the year before, and they were allowed to go on a 2-day party. We'd be on the coach having recovery sessions that same evening back in Manchester because we had a Premier League game in 4 days, and Fergie never let up. And the only concern I would have, and I do mean this genuinely, is that you've had 2 years of absolute brilliance, and it's been an onslaught. It's been relentless. And I do wonder if psychologically there is just going to be an element of, we've finally done it. And then can you then pick it up next year? And the one thing that would make me more confident as a Liverpool fan is if you went out this summer and you bought a Thiago and a Werner, and they're going to create competition in the squad, and I think that you go back to Man United not winning the league there. Gary Neville writes about it in his book Red. I was reading the book again today, just for reference, and he said that the biggest mistake we made in the second and third season of winning the league is we didn't buy enough players in the summer, and the squad becomes stale and lethargic and whatnot. And although Liverpool fans say we've only won one league, last year you were good enough to win the league. It's been 2 years at a relentless pace. Now, only 11 clubs in 80 years have retained the title. And you just had 2 back-to-back years where you were good enough to do it. Only 3 clubs in 80 years have played at the championship winning level 3 years running. So it's already an uphill task. And that would be my only concern. And I mean that genuinely. I'm trying not to sound salty or bitter, but Stro, from your point of view, signing's a must.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I touched upon it before in my previous point. There's been games this season where we haven't been great, but we've managed to scrape a win. For example, West Ham at home, Aston Villa away, Sheffield United away. And there's been times, and listen, I absolutely love this man. I honestly do. But Firmino's goal-scoring record hasn't been good enough for us this season. It hasn't. It really hasn't.
You tell him, Stro. Firmino goals, fam.
KJ, bro, I love you. I will come for you in a minute if you carry on with that.
This is what I'm hoping for. This is why I've set this up. What I will say this. We'll go back to the Stro. Like, we've created this over lockdown. This has been completely by fluke the people we're now having on. But I always like the dynamic now. It's almost what I set the Football Terrace out to be. Fans from different channels on each other's streams at the same time, chatting about each other's sides, as opposed to the stereotypical fan channels. It's all just one-way traffic. Does that make sense? And that's the idea of it. So KJ, you wind up away and Stro, because you're not in the same room, you can pretty much do what you want. There's no Go, mate. Continue making your point, please.
No, it's just like Firmino's goal scoring record hasn't been good enough, and there's been times where you need to bring him off, but who are you bringing on for him? He doesn't fancy Origi through the middle. He's shown that again tonight. He's brought Minamino on first.
He's trying to
he
play
moves.
Minamino
He normally
there,
moves
isn't
Salah into the middle, and it just the thing is we need better quality and we need better quality and we need better depth because we're losing Lallana, good squad player. Lovren, although I'm not his biggest fan, he looks like he's on his way out to Zenit St. Petersburg. So we need another defender there. So we are lacking in depth significantly. And listen, it takes one big injury to a Van Dijk, a Salah. Don't get me wrong, we had a big injury to Alisson, but anything like that could be calamitous for us next season. And Klopp's come out and said that he wants to go and attack the league, and I like the mentality. Go out and prove it in the transfer window then. Go out and recruit 3 or 4 players that are going to make a difference to the squad. Because let's be honest, we are the team to beat and we are the team to chase. And teams have got to improve to get up to our level, which is what we had to do a few seasons ago. But we can't stay still because that's what Man City did this season.
Yep.
Yeah, they went out and got Rodri, but the one area they needed to strengthen was at centre-back. But yet here they are. All everyone's talking about is the fact we're not going to do the Centurions. No one's talking about this is probably the worst title defence in Premier League history.
Mate, I agree. I completely agree. Sorry, mate, go on.
No, I'm saying, like, how were they that far behind? Because Pep's ego didn't want to go out and buy a centre-back. And we look like we're about to fall into that exact same mindset and that exact same ego. And that's uncomfortable for me because we're at a point now where we could go on and dominate and we should go on and dominate. The only thing that's stopping us is ourselves, which is ludicrous. It's absolutely ludicrous thinking because you've seen it from literally 40 minutes down the motorway. City have just done the exact same thing. We cannot fall into that trap.
I agree. I agree. I think you go on, Bizzo.
Sorry, I was just going to say. I think our transfer policy is a hell of a lot different to other teams. Like we're not willing to splash money out like 60 million on Rodri and people like that. I mean, this Thiago rumour that's going around. I'll be very, very doubtful if we sign Thiago because it doesn't.
Sorry,
they're not laughing at you. They're laughing at who just went to screen, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just saying that the Thiago thing for me. I just as good of a player he is, I just don't think we'll sign him because I just don't think Klopp wants a player like that in the team. That's 29 years old. That's going to demand a massive salary. Even the likes of Salah and Mane aren't on mass amounts of money in comparison to your bigger players in the Premier League. And I think because we're that shrewd and I think Timo Werner was exactly the same. I think Klopp's weighed up whether or not he's going to be good enough to get in the team and warrant that kind of money. And he's probably just said, no, I'm not interested. But I do agree with the depth thing. The depth is the worst part about us. Like it's been the case for ages. It's when we had the season where we almost won the league with Rodgers. The next season we bought absolute garbage. The next season for depth, and that's
I think you lose Suarez that summer as well.
Yeah,
Suarez, I remember.
Bought Ricky Lambert and Balotelli, which it just doesn't work. You've got to buy.
No, you should have bought Remy that season as well. Remy should have been the one.
Yeah, he went Chelsea. He went Chelsea.
I look at all these sort of situations and I just sort of think to myself, like, I totally respect what Liverpool have done, but it is important, as you said, Stroh, not to stand still at any point. People are going to spend money, and it's just getting yourself back up for that title challenge. And I didn't agree, by the way. Like I think all of our clubs have been on par with each other, with everyone wanting City to get their ban, and it's really you can tell it's put the bit between Pep Guardiola's teeth. As an example, talking about how we couldn't afford Maguire and this player, and then having a go at like Liverpool. Liverpool spent money, Wenger spent money, Fergie spent money. It's just a bit of a madness there. We're going to add Alex AGT from Klopp TV in the house, bro. Over. That's a nice top you've got on, though, bro. It literally looks like a straitjacket. Are you that angry?
Actually, big shout out to my sponsor Puma first and foremost, but second of all, yes, I am angry, Terry. I knew you'd have a smile on your face when I came into the stream because you've been baiting me all week, and I've been waiting to bump into you, Terry, as well. I haven't been on this show for about a month, so I've been waiting to come in and regulate. But tonight, I've definitely got a chin to the floor kind of moment because, boy. I said with Troops and Robbie outside Emirates on Monday that we'd win this 3-0. When we go 1-0 up, I'm laughing, counting my chickens. And I'm just, for the first time tonight, Terry, I'll admit I'm pissed off. I said it. I'm pissed off.
Nice? Do you know what's nice, bro? Like
bro,
every other
time last night, he knows I'm pissed off as well.
I like it, though. I like it. And tell you what, every other time you've been on the show, you've been great.
Well, by the way.
That's good. Good, mate. I nearly grabbed a beer. I nearly opened a bottle of something nice when you guys lost. I was so happy.
I'm on water. That's how pissed I am. I'm on water.
I just thought it's nice to see Liverpool fans a bit annoyed because you've just been so happy all year. So I'm not going to lie. It's just a little bit nice for it to end that way. Thank you there, H. Lion, for the comment. He says another thing to take into account is they were not challenged for the title this season. They are yet to win a title under that kind of pressure. Other teams buying will close the gap, especially if they don't buy. It's a point. Laurie Nix here, one of our members, is Stroh is talking so much sense. I like him, Terry. Good debate. We've got one other super chat, and we've got some other callers that are going to join us in a moment as well. And then we're going to open the lines up for questions. The Werner deal that we pulled out of will haunt us. I didn't set that up, you know. Ade, love you, bro. Ade, it's a great comment, bro. Keep it coming. Where's Zayn, by the way? I thought Zayn would be up in the comment section tonight.
Nah, he's cheating on us with AFTV because he's getting happy in that.
In fairness,
pays your rent.
In fairness, he done £180 of super chat in the watch.
Yeah.
So I'm good.
Madman.
I'm
Absolute
good, bro.
madman.
I'm
Paying
good.
for the nappies though.
Oh, Firmino. Oh,
Mate,
no.
everything.
Firmino?
We're gonna add another.
Firmino goes.
You know what it is, bro. You know what it is.
Lacazette has 2 more goals and 1,200 less minutes. It's incredible. Oh, I love
One
it.
thing I want to say about Lacazette, yeah, ever since that slander episode, he's been turning up. So
good.
Arsenal fans, you need to accredit the assist to the football terrace for that form, fam.
We destroyed Lacazette on here. What was it? Lackability. It was like trending. And madness as well. I think so many people are using it since. We're going to add Luke Tanner, who is a Liverpool fan. Luke, what do you want to say, mate?
Well, obviously listening to what you guys said, obviously I was watching the game today whilst watching your watch along, and it was such an odd performance because Liverpool was mostly on top during the game, and then obviously Alisson and Van Dijk just decided just to go to sleep like the league's already won. Like I know like the league's already won, but like I was expecting like to end on a high, not end like they're already on the beach.
So Luke, a question for you. You've won the league. That's amazing. If you get beat by Chelsea next week, and then you win comfortably against Newcastle, will it feel like a bit of an anti-climax for you personally?
Yeah, a little bit. Obviously, like I wanted Liverpool to get the points record because that would be something nice to have. Obviously, I wasn't really bothered about the invincible treble, the invincible double, because I think the only thing that matters for me personally was Liverpool to win the league. Because obviously, I'm 22. I've never seen Liverpool win the league before. So obviously, Liverpool to win the league, no matter what means necessary, was more important than going after all the records.
Yeah, but how does it feel that it's not special, bro? Like it's just
It's a
win.
box standard.
It's just a league win. You know what I'm saying?
Not box standard.
It's box
It's
standard,
still a
mate.
league win, but yeah, it's all right, I suppose. Like my worry is more for next season.
40 points ahead of Terry's team.
But I'm happy.
Yeah, it's more like for next season. Like the fact that Liverpool aren't really linked with anyone, it's sort of a little bit worrying because that squad is on the verge of going a little bit stale.
I get that.
No
AGT,
competition.
AGT, do you know what I want to say to you? Listen, it's all banter at the minute. Everyone knows what I think about Liverpool and how good I think they are.
You love us.
Did you know in lockdown we were talking about why on the Liverpool fan channels it doesn't ever seem to be sort of the discontent and the anger and the annoyance? And for years it's been, no, Liverpool channels don't have that. The last month or so, I really, since the Werner deal was announced going the other to Chelsea, I've started to see it creep in, and it's like it's just a little bit nice to see a few Liverpool fans squirm a bit. And the most amazing thing is, it's in the middle of you winning the league. It's kind of beautiful.
Do you know what it is? You just couldn't have picked a worse time for this to happen to us because we're on such a high. It's like, United fans are just pissing on us whilst we're trying to celebrate. It's like, hang on, what are you doing? What's going on here?
The Avengers turn up to your yard.
Hang on. Who, this guy sport Liverpool?
Yeah.
Who, KJ or Luke?
Yeah. KJ.
Yeah.
KJ's the Man United.
I'm here for the good vibes and the good times.
Terry, hang on a minute. What have I signed up for? I thought this was called That Liverpool Podcast or That Liverpool Show. What's
is.
going
But
on
we,
there?
He's letting Riff
last
off in.
month we've added a lot of flavour where.
Well, hang
he's
on.
bringing
Hang on. So is it called That Liverpool and Man United Show now? What's going on?
And Chelsea.
Yeah, and a Chelsea fan. But what you have to endure is the banter. Because look, listen, I have to put. Man United have been in a good space since we've returned, but you should have seen the cap I was getting the other night, mate. It's really, really good. Luke, listen, I appreciate you coming on, mate, and having your say. Thank you very, very much.
Winter Surfer, what a comment. He said VVD with a lack of focus.
Do you know what?
You've got to laugh. You've got to laugh.
Got Stephen Uzaguna coming on. Stephen came on the other night. How you doing, Stephen?
Not bad, you?
Cool. Are you out of hospital now? Are you back home?
Yeah, I'm back home for now, but I might be going back to hospital tomorrow.
Oh, God.
Just double check.
Good, good. I mean, you must be happy tonight, though. Arsenal picking up the win.
Yeah, I'm gobsmacked, to be honest.
So am I.
Yeah,
same.
I mean, congrats to Liverpool, obviously winning the league. I think it probably does highlight how difficult it is to keep the concentration after you've won the league, to chase like sort of records.
It is. It definitely is. It definitely is. You know what I mean? It's a bit like, it feels to me like it would be, you know, like when you handed notice in at work and you know you're leaving, but you've still got some work to do. I just think you never give it your all.
Yes, Terry.
That's how it is. That's what it is right now. So it's there. Which is why I think, like, as a Man United fan, the nerves that come in now, I think Chelsea will beat you next week as well, because Chelsea are sort of legitimately playing for something, and Arsenal kind of weren't either. I think Chelsea are going to go out with a bit between their teeth, and especially after we spanked them on Sunday in the FA Cup. So there we go. Stephen, mate, I appreciate you coming on, having your say. Just give everyone a shout. Let them know where they can find you, because I know obviously you're raising awareness for childhood liver disease. Just let everyone know the name of your channel, please.
I'm continuing with that and try and keep updated as much as possible. But also,
absolutely, I've got your links you sent through to me. Sorry, mate, go on. Sorry, I gave you.
Yeah, I was just going to say that a lot of awareness stuff will come during sort of the summer transfer window. So when I've got
great,
time.
well, I've got some of the links you sent me yesterday, so I'll get them retweeted. I'm sure all the boys here will retweet them when I put them out as well. Help raise some awareness on that. Stephen, appreciate you coming on. Thank you very much. And Stephen, don't call via Skype. We're not taking Skype calls. Thank you, Stephen, my friend. We've got Ram.
I got a question, bro. I got a question. Did you talk to Klopp? Because their defending today was like you trying to defend Liverpool, fam. It was pitiful, bro. Like, wild one.
What is this show come to, bro?
It's come to pettiness, man. It's come to pettiness.
Boy, shameless FC, fam. Let's go, bro.
Hashtag champs 2020, mate. I don't care. We won the league. I just want the title. And I want the season to start. Literally, I just don't care. I don't care.
Sorry, bro. But listen, you do. I want to ask. We've already asked the boys Bizzo and Stro this, but Alex, are you worried about next season at all with no signings?
I wasn't till tonight, to be fair. I'm doing a piece with BBC Sport in the morning about Liverpool's transfers, and it's massively changed my opinion from yesterday to now, to be honest. I was saying on my fan cams just then, I've just come off the COP TV and I said to a few of the guys, there's only about 5 or 6 weeks now until the next season starts. And if we're playing like this, it makes me think that we're obviously not playing as well as we were, which also means that we're only 5 weeks away from next season, which also means that we could start the season badly and that could end in a poor defense of the title. Listen, I hope that's not the truth. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm praying it's not that. But to be honest, like, since we've come back, I just don't know what it is, man. I can't really put my finger on it, Terry. Graham Souness struggled to say what it was tonight as well. Klopp came out and said, there's no manual for...
Yeah, I heard Souness say it was Pogba.
Allow Paul Pogba. We're not even talking about him.
Do you know what? Honestly, I do think it's a bit of burnout. I do think it's a little bit of, and I don't even mean it in a disrespectful way. It's 2 years of being absolutely world class, and I just think your players have got to a point where it's like, you play like Klopp and Pep don't play the same style, but the similarities are the intensity. And I always remember the interview I saw, and I don't remember the name of the player, when Pep left Bayern Munich, the word was, we're really sad to see him go, but relieved because it was so intense and it was exhausting. And I think that's the element of almost, maybe this is good for Liverpool though. This would be positive here. Maybe this is a good time just for the players to recharge their batteries, play at 80%, have that 6-week break before coming back, and then go again as an example. Maybe maybe it's a plan. Maybe it's premeditated. Maybe it's a case of, look, if we just take 3 months off of playing at a relentless pace and then turn it back on again to start next season, that will reserve energy. Rather than, do you really want to see Liverpool busting the gut now when there's no need to? I suppose there is that element to it as well, where you have to be fair. But Ram, are you scared of Man United yet? I'm sorry.
No, you ain't that.
Ram feels good tonight because he's got some backup, which is nice. Which is nice for him.
What's your little group called, Ram? Because obviously we got the Avengers. What are you guys called? Your little.
Hey, I'll tell you what. 2 of the worst things that have happened so far, yeah. 1, we played poor since we won the league. Secondly, you've sorted your modem out because you've been unbearable.
Let's go, baby.
Ram, bro. Ram.
I ribbed KJ so hard about his internet. He made his parents install better internet. Now that's
it had to be done. It had to be done. I can't take it. If I'm giving it, I have to give it cleanly.
Well, your mum cussing me out though.
Yeah, she said like my modem's a potato, your head's a potato. That's what she said.
I've got another Aguna that's coming on. He was on last night for a while. Ghostwriter is in the house.
Ghostwriter, let the gat sing, bro. Let the gat sing.
Tier 2, I'm back it. Tier 2, I'm backing it.
Tier 2, mate.
I'm backing it. I'm backing it.
I mean, you say that, but I did count. I don't know if you watched my stream. I was counting from the 8th minute until the game ended. Arsenal didn't have one piece of possession that was longer than 10 seconds, and they only had 2 that was longer than 5 seconds. Like, it wasn't. You defended well, but if you played that game like that again 10 times, you'd lose them the 10 times on the bounce. You created 1 chance in the game at home. That was my point about you're not near Man United. Like Man United back in October when we were poor. We dominated Liverpool for a whole half of football, which is a fact.
Okay, didn't you slaughter us?
Yeah, but you got a goal from a foul, Tel.
Sorry, didn't you slaughter us the other night for losing to Tottenham when all they did was defend?
Oh my God, Tottenham! You lost to a team that Tottenham beat.
So if you're going by that logic again,
you lost against us, yeah. You lost against us.
Yeah, Ghostwriter. Ghostwriter, get your chest out. Shameless FC fan, give it to him. Let the gat sing, baby.
No. Arsenal fans are a little bit more classy than United fans. So what we do?
Boring, bro. That's
we just
boring, man.
We just put the point out and we back it up, and then we just sit back. That's what we do.
So were you happy with the performance tonight from Arsenal?
I didn't expect to win. So to me, I would have got whatever the result. I would have took it. Do you know what I mean? As long as we get the result. So, however we played.
You'd fucking take it. Are you mad? Like
I don't actually think Arsenal were even that good. I just think Liverpool were just that poor.
2 shots on target in the whole game they had from 2 mistakes.
It's not about quantity, it's about quality. And that's what they did.
Because you're screaming quality, aren't you?
We beat you without Aubameyang and Ceballos, our best midfielder and our best striker. Incredible.
Is that a sign, though? Is that a sign you should sell Aubameyang, though?
I've always said that we should sell him.
Really?
I think we should sell Lacazette and Aubameyang.
Speak it, fam.
This summer. Yeah. I think we should sell them both for about 100 million.
Wait, I'm sorry. 100 million altogether. 100 million altogether.
Yeah.
For each.
Okay, that's what we got.
Sorry.
Yeah, but what even makes you think you'll get 100 million for the 2 of them?
Well, I think we would. I think 50 mil we can get for Aubameyang.
Who's the other?
I think Aubameyang could go for 50.
Lacazette.
I think Lacazette could go for about 50.
Lacazette is in the last year of his contract, and he's 31, 32 years old. He's not going for 50.
No, he's got 2 years, Lacazette.
Oh, he's going into the last year of his contract next season. He's not going for 50.
He's 20. He's 20. He's 29. He's 29.
He's still not going to go for 50. Invincible.
Yeah. You won't be getting more than 25 mil for
FA Cup fail, League Cup fail, CL fail. Happy with performance, good defending, clinical. Wow.
Remember, super chats. We have to show whatever they say. That's the rules of the football terrace. So
James LFC 90. Is it 89 or 86. He
No, I'm
done
very
me.
proud, man.
He done me with the super chat.
Terry, you are bending the rules tonight, my good friend. Really are bending the rules
All the
tonight.
podcasts are like this now. We've evolved in the last
Yeah.
month. Very popular.
All clubs matter, mate. All clubs matter, fam.
You're taking them. Yes.
There we go. Listen, Writer, thank you for coming on, mate. Really do appreciate it, brother. Appreciate it. Speak to you soon, mate. Take care. Thank you.
AGT.
Yo.
What?
Sorry?
Yeah.
Hello?
Go on. Speak to AGT. Go on.
I thought he was going to roast you, not going to lie.
Oh, no. I'm so ready.
What happened, bro?
No.
I was ready. I was
I
ready.
don't know what you were going to say. Samuel. Samuel is a Liverpool fan. He's on the stream. How's it going? How you feeling, bro?
Do you know what? I'm frustrated. I can't lie to you. I'm frustrated. I can't lie. I mean, when looking at Liverpool today, if you actually clocked our passing, it was off. At one point, nearly to the end of the game, where Trent had a free kick, we had a free kick, and then Trent tried to pass it to Naby Keita, and it was just way off. And then Klopp was like, "That pass was so easy." Like, I don't know, we just weren't at it. Yeah, we dominated the game, but literally Arsenal part of us, and they managed to get 3 points out of it. So I was just like, this is not our day at all.
Yeah, it was so weird. Like, I looked at it like you dominated. You weren't great in the final third. But even like I think it was like 48 minutes in, you had a moment where you had like 4 shots in the space of like 20 seconds, and they all ricocheted around. It just felt like one of those nights where it wasn't quite going to happen. But if you played like that again at that level, you guys would win 3 or 4-0. Like, their goals literally came. I mean, look, I know I was trolling him on social media, but Van Dijk doesn't really make mistakes. He's the best centre back in the world, and he makes one tonight.
Wait, Terry, did you just say you were trolling on social media?
Sometimes.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay. Right, yeah.
Every now and then.
Van Dijk did his best impersonation of Maguire today, so it's one of those days.
You think Van der Vaart would have said that about him? No way.
There we go. Well, Van der Vaart probably would. I know for a fact Harry Maguire definitely banged Van der Vaart's wife. 110%. He did it on Terry.
What are you on about?
110%. He definitely caught him.
That's going to be your thumbnail for this video, isn't it? You wait.
Special
that'd be quality. But from your point of view, Samuel, I mean, we've asked the other boys this question. Do you have any concerns going into this summer, or do you just think it's mainly noise from rival fans like me just trying to kind of get under the skin of Liverpool supporters?
It'd be annoying.
Do you know what? I've always said this, Liverpool fans, if you're getting triggered by rival fans that are literally how many places behind you, you actually have a weak mentality. Seriously. But in a sense, leave Ram alone. Leave Ram alone.
Tell him again.
Wait, the Ram Defense League is here, fam. The Ram Defense League.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a subject for
in all seriousness.
Go on.
Sorry, in all seriousness, that basically, I even said this yesterday. I will be very disappointed if Liverpool don't go out and buy anyone in the transfer market, because as I said yesterday, we do need a little bit of refreshing of the team, maybe a change of tactics, maybe a change of personnel, just to keep competition in the side, because we can't go still. If we go still, look at Man City this season. They didn't fix the issues that they needed to fix. They're how many points behind us? We can't do that. So we have to act.
I got a question for all the Liverpool lads. What kind of signings do you think we need? Like, I know a backup left back is quite up there.
Timo Werner, Kai Havertz.
This guy, man.
Oh my god, this guy. Are you...
You're a dickhead, Barry.
I said
literally, man. Literally, bro.
You
are you jealous that you don't have him, bro? Have him, bro.
A question. A lot of comments have said this tonight, that sort of no Henderson, no win. Does it prove tonight how important the best midfielder in the Premier League is for yourselves in Jordan Henderson?
You just took the words right out of my mouth. best
Best
midfield
midfield in the world. Best midfield in the
Literally,
world.
good in the
I've
world.
seen a stat.
Honestly,
I've
yeah,
seen
yeah.
I seen a stat at the end of full time: 90% win ratio with Henderson, 60% without. That says it all. We absolutely missed Henderson tonight. Elite KJ, you can point and say what you want, fella.
No, no,
But
I'm agreeing. No, I'm agreeing. I'm
Henderson is officially Liverpool's greatest ever captain and midfielder in Premier League history. Facts. Greatest.
Hold on, does this not show how poor your squad is that without a leader, you fall apart so easily?
Yeah, the same squad that's how many points ahead of you?
Isn't it? So if our squad's like that, then you must be.
Yeah. That doesn't answer my question, though. That doesn't answer my question.
It does. It answers
Nah,
my
you
question.
just got a bit of a box, fella.
It doesn't.
You just got sent for a vegan sausage roll.
You fell apart without Henderson today.
You just got sent to the
You
shop.
got slapped. You got slapped.
You fell apart without Henderson today. No. All banter aside, is that not a problem?
Is what not?
Without Henderson, that you guys fall apart. Is that not a problem?
Man, we're just chilling.
No.
Do you not think
Fantastic
That's not
business.
No, I've always said this. Basically, Liverpool, in all seriousness, Liverpool struggle when teams are playing a 4-4-1-1. We can't really seem to break down that certain formation.
Yeah,
and I feel like there's going to be more teams that are going to pinpoint that formation. So we do need to change tactics a little bit or have new person. That's the way I'll have.
That's why
I've got a question
I'm
for you
hoping.
guys.
That's why I'm hoping that Klopp will start experimenting in the next couple of games, of, like changing stuff up. You know, making us a little bit.
Yeah, it's not just transfers. It's the tactics of the team as well. We play the same way every time we set up.
Exactly,
It's the same formation every time. Everyone knows how to expect us. That's why Arsenal played so many at the back, because they played how a team coming to Anfield would play. They just sat back, soaked up all the pressure, and then hoped for a couple of chances. And they got.
We didn't even
tonight.
play our best player. We didn't play our best player against you, so I don't see why you're saying that we really tried.
Oh, Ghostwriter, that's it. Give it to me.
Wait.
Oh, allow it. What's going on here?
One at a time. Ghost Rider, make your point again. Like, what do you mean by that?
One of our best midfielders not in the squad, or not in the starting 11.
Xhaka?
Not in the starting 11. No, Tobias is our best
defensive. You were defensive. Don't tell me that you were not defensive today. You were parking the bus. Literally parked the bus in this game.
There's nothing wrong with parking the bus,
There's nothing
especially
wrong
if it
with
works.
it. There's nothing wrong
Why
with
is
it.
that
But
negative?
don't say that. Oh, we missed our best midfielder and best.
We didn't play him. That's a
takes
bit
work to stop
embarrassing.
us from-
That is a bit embarrassing. If you think about it, you must be embarrassed at the fact that Aubameyang, who's one of the best strikers in the league, wasn't playing in a team.
No, do you know what's embarrassing? Finishing.
Bizzo, say that again. Say that again, Bizzo.
You want to sell him for 50 million?
Yeah.
I'm great striker if you want to tell him.
Greatest striker in Premier League.
Catching some strays.
He's one of the best, isn't he? No? Okay.
But you want to sell him?
What you think?
You want to
Yeah,
sell
because
him
of his
so
age
it's
and his
not-
contract. Yeah, his age and his contract. That's why I'm selling him.
Like,
Like
just there, man.
We done well. We done well today. Put some respect.
You sacrificed Aubameyang to play another defender.
I have a question.
That's why you sat
Have
on the
Man
bench.
United lost to Arsenal this season?
Yep.
Yeah, but we're not talking about that right now. Don't worry about it.
Tired Luke Shaw.
Okay.
Pepe
I
was
just wanted
tired
to know.
Luke
I just wanted to know.
Have Liverpool lost to Chelsea this season? I just wanted to know.
How many times have you lost against us? How many times have you lost against us?
How many times has Ollie smashed Chelsea this year?
I just wanted to know.
We can recycle this as much as you want.
I know we can. Ghost right.
Martinelli masterclass.
Ghost right. You come back on. What we come back on to say? Because I saw your comment. Terry can't hack it. I don't know what you're talking about.
Right, because last night I had I don't know if it was a dream, but we had a conversation. And someone said to me that Man United were in tier 2 and Arsenal were in tier 3. And I said, there's not much difference between Arsenal and Man United at the moment. Can you still see a massive divide between the two clubs?
Yes.
Yeah. Or is it different now?
Yeah. No, I can't see a massive difference. Sorry, I can see a big difference. I can't see that you've closed that gap over. Listen, let me finish answering my question. I don't see your result tonight is a brilliant result, but it wasn't a performance that I think Arsenal fans want massively going forward. I still can't see a big difference, but I can't see a big gap being closed in one game. I still think you're a little while behind us. And I've had 4 Arsenal fans call the show in the last 24 hours and leave comments saying that their biggest concern isn't Arteta and these players getting better. It's the board not backing him when Chelsea, City, United are going to be signing 2 or 3 top-class players at the same time. So my opinion still remains the same, mate.
Okay, so all right, you think there's another tier? You're in another tier above us. Okay.
Yes.
I'll just say that Arteta is what's great about tonight. It shows that even though we haven't got the players that he wants, we've managed to pull off something as a team. Passion, the energy, we're all together. We're all backing Arteta. And even though some of these players will leave, some of them are coming. We are up onwards and upwards.
But I get that though. I get what you're saying, but you know, it was a smash and grab performance, and you need to be congratulated for it. I think the shape very, very good. Some of the centre back performances very, very good. Nullified them. It's like that deserves congratulations. But do I think that you're ready to move on to a point where you're going to push for the top 4 next year properly? No, I don't. By the way, but what I also said is if you have a really good summer and genuinely back your manager and bring in 3 players of Thomas Partey's level that you're heavily linked with, then my opinion may change. Until you do that, it isn't going to happen.
Okay, so 5 points between Arsenal and Man United right now with 2 games left.
Again, we're not going to go through what we went through last night. As I've said, if you want to look at the overall season's points, yes, there's that kind of gap. But what Man United have done and kicked on doing since January until now, you do realise since Arteta has been at your club, you've dropped more points, 15, from winning positions than any other club in the league. That is another huge gap between yourself and us. You know, we have, I think, winning positions. Man United have dropped 3 points in that time. You've done 15 more than anybody else in the You've dropped more points from winning positions than relegation teams. Yeah. That is just one example.
But you spent 80 million on Maguire. You spent 80 million on Maguire.
Sorry, guys. You said yesterday. Hang on, stop. Just shush. You said yesterday Maguire was trash and no good. So spending £80 million on him shouldn't be a factor. That is a literal.
You're still able to spend 150 million, whereas we can't.
I'm not turning it back up to stop. It doesn't make any sense. So you're saying now Maguire is a good centre back?
No, I'm saying that you're able to spend 150 million on players.
If he isn't a good enough player, spending the money means nothing. If I spend £100 million on the wrong player,
your club has got more.
No, final thing I'm going to say, Ghostwriter, is you're misrepresenting my point. The reason I'm happy with how we're spending is the signings we're now making, I think, are making a huge difference to us as a football club. Thus, this summer with the players we're linked with, I'm excited because I truly believe they're going to elevate our squad in the same way Liverpool fans trust the players that Jurgen Klopp signs. And until I start to see Arsenal sign players,
you're 5 points ahead of us.
No, but you're not listening to this again. I've already gone over that. I'm not repeating myself. I'm not repeating it. Not repeating it again. Since January, we've kicked on. From that point until now, we are superior to Arsenal in how we play, how we win, the players we have in our squad, what we're going to do this summer. Yes, really.
Okay. And that's emotional, man. You like the way you play better than us.
Agree.
Okay, well done.
What did you just say about passion and all that and being good, man?
Wise, there's no difference, man. 5 points.
One more point that you said. One more point. You said that Man United can afford to spend like 85 million on a centre back that Arsenal can't. How is that Man United's problem? That you guys kind of afford to spend that money on improving your squad.
Problem. I'm saying it's an advantage.
Okay. It's not even true because you spent 72 mil on Pepe.
But again, sorry, Bizzo. Sorry. Go on, Bizzo.
Our defense needs work.
I was just saying, like, to your point about not getting back, opening gets backed in the transfer market. Like Arsenal do get backed in the transfer market. They spent 72 million on Pepe. They spent 28 million on a centre back that they sent on loan back to the club that they bought him from. They just don't buy the right players. That's what the issue is.
And that's part of it.
In the defense,
do you know what? Ghostwriter, and the point that Bizzo has just made there is exactly my point. I have faith in how we're now buying players. I don't have faith in how Arsenal are. That's another reason we're in front of you. Secondly, you've just proven another point that I've just thought of, and you've put it in my head. Because we have the financial facilities to be able to go out and spend 80 million on 3 different players, that gives us an advantage and puts us a level up. If Man City didn't have a billionaire owner, would they be in the tier 1 section? Part of the reason City are where they are and Chelsea are where they are is because of their money. Part of the reason Liverpool are where they are and Man United are is because there are hundreds of millions of fans around the world that generate an income for us to be there. To ignore these factors is utterly ridiculous. Listen, I appreciate you coming back on, mate, and having your say. We're going to move this conversation back to Liverpool. You can stay on, but we're going to move this conversation back to Liverpool.
I have a question about for Liverpool fans.
Go on, KJ.
I have a question. Do you know, like, you guys are linked with Thiago, you were linked with Werner, and you linked, I think, a guy called, he's called Vashiska from Werder Bremen. I've had links to him, something like that. And from what I'm hearing, players are deciding not to go to Liverpool because of what reason or another. Do you think, with your team being so good, players are going to be more reluctant to come for first-team football?
Yeah.
They won't be able to get in.
Depends on what's getting paid already. We won't splash money out on wages and stuff like the likes of like a Pepe or whatever. We won't pay that amount of money. Like if you look at the wages of Mane and Salah, minuscule in comparison to the likes of like Alexis Sanchez as an example. But that's one of the factors I believe that they won't come a lot of the time. They turn it down. Chelsea are more willing to pay a lot more money to play than we are in terms of wages.
Sorry, guys. Who's moving a fridge or something?
Prime, I think your neighbours upstairs, fam. I think your neighbours upstairs are doing the business.
Yeah, right. It literally sounds like someone's in IKEA or someone's building something.
Hey, Biz, you're right what you're saying, because you look at it. So Timo Werner, obviously the Chelsea fans will be able to help me out with this, but what's the wage that he's coming in on at Chelsea?
I think it's 170, 180.
Right, so that would make him the 3rd highest earner at Liverpool, ahead of Mane, ahead of
Henderson,
a few other of our starting 11. Now, he wasn't guaranteed to start first game of the season, so why would we spend money and give wages to a player? Don't get me wrong, I think we should have gone out and got him, but the wage structure at Liverpool is going to cause problems for us in the transfer market.
Yeah, we're too shrewd. We're too shrewd. That's why we never get linked with these marquee players. Like that's
yeah.
It's always
But you
been
know what's
the case.
interesting though? It's funny really because I spoke about this for 3 or 4 months and so I get really bad feedback from somebody's microphone as well, and it's starting to it's legit hurting my ears. If anyone's got earphones to put in, could you please mute yourselves and put some earphones in? It makes the world of difference to me. Thank you so much. And like I was saying this about 3 or 4 months and just being shot down for it when there was, we're getting Werner. I'm like, where does he play? Who misses out? We're going to sign Havertz. Well, okay, who misses out? Because someone's got to be dropped for that level of player because they're not going to join and be happy just to sit on a bench week in, week out. And I remember one of the biggest things people say, oh, yeah, but when African Cup of Nations happens, then they'll play. I'm like, bro, that's a month. That's a month of the year. No players going to come for that month window. And I said, it wasn't about me being salty. It was about being realistic. And I've said it about Man United. We can sign Sancho because there's a place there. Could we sign Sancho and Werner in the same summer? I don't think so because there's too much. It's too much high level quality for one position. Now, yes, you had 4 strikers in '99, but we played 4-4-2, so there was 2 strikers on any one. So you play with 1 central striker now. When you play with 1 central striker, I think your squad can afford to have 2 proper strikers in it, and then maybe an academy player. Once you start getting to 3 strikers and beyond, look at Chelsea now. How much game time is Batshuayi getting?
0.
None.
That's
None.
more because he's dead, though.
I forgot he was there.
But there wouldn't be enough game time for him, even if he was better, because there's only so many subs. It's easier now as well. We've got 5 subs and he ain't getting on. Like these players are not going to get game time. It's just how it is, and I think people have got to be realistic. When you're at Liverpool point, it's so hard to. The only players Liverpool could sign a big player, but it's going to have to be someone that comes into the first team. And I think Jurgen Klopp's thinking is, why am I going to fix something that isn't broken? What you need more of is better quality players on the bench. So I still think you should go for someone like a Jack Grealish or a Campbell, someone like that level that can improve your squad, but will challenge for the first team when they come in, but equally isn't going to expect to be in that first team from day one.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Where do Liverpool look now, like to get these players? Are you looking at more mid-table teams? Are you looking at abroad? Like, where's the market?
Maybe Championship.
Yeah, where's the market for these players that you're looking for now?
We've proved it over the past few seasons.
I don't know. I think Cantwell will be a good option.
We sign players before they hit the prime. That's what, like, if you look at United's past transfers, like Bruno Fernandes and Sanchez, players like that, they're already in the prime when they buy them. Whereas we never do that ever. I think the last player that we did that with was Balotelli probably, and that turned out to be like one of the biggest flops in history. But I think we try and, like Minamino as well. Like, we signed him for £7.5, £8 million, where no one knew about him. We should have gone for someone like Haaland as well for the price that he was going for, in my opinion. But how do you tell a lad like that, who's got the world at his feet, that he's going to sit on the bench every week behind our front three every single week?
Do you know what Liverpool need? They need like the best young talent to be on the bench, so they've got time that they don't care about playing first team football.
That's
when
the
they
thing.
do, make an impact.
Yeah, Ghost Rider, I get what you mean, but that's the thing. So the best example Bizzo gave was Haaland. Would someone like that want to be sitting on the bench where they want to get game time and want to make a name for
I think Haaland would sit on the bench. I think Haaland would sit on the bench for a good.
No.
The
The character that he is, he wants to be playing.
Look at Callum Hudson-Odoi as an example. Now, I know he had the injury, but everyone keeps talking about an injury that he came back from in September. We're now in July.
Very rushed.
Man's been fit for a year, right? But his problem is he hasn't had regular game time. And when you're a young player and you're not getting regular game time, it's going to impact you. Now, sometimes it's for different reasons. I go back, a Man United player, Anderson. Now, you youngsters probably won't remember his first season in 07-08 because you are talking.
I remember it.
I remember that. What do you mean?
My name is Maradona.
His first season was class for an 18-year-old midfielder. Man United fans are like, we found the heir to Paul Scholes' throne. Two things happened after that. Man United, from about 05 right through to Fergie's retirement, didn't do a great job of developing youngsters through the academy and players that we purchased. Mainly because suddenly there was 3 or 4 teams that could win the league, and there was this need we have to just win. We came a little bit like Chelsea have been like since Abramovich, where it's like we haven't got time for Kevin De Bruyne and Mo Salah to become the players their potential suggests they will be. We need to win now. We need to win in this moment. And Man United became a bit like that because of the competition. So Anderson was not playing as regularly. He never played more than 4 games on the bounce for Man United in his career. The early part was rotation, and then he did suffer 2 really bad injuries. But this is what happens to young players. They need game time to make it. Brewster was tipped to be something special, but he's had to go out on loan because he isn't going to get the game time. Half your youngsters Liverpool have got right now are really, I don't think people realize how good they are. They can't get on the pitch. And the thing is, if you then start to bleed them, you're going to have to take a risk to bleed them in properly. You're going to have to do what Fergie did in 1990, I want to say 4, I might get my years wrong, where he got rid of Kanchelskis, Ince, and Hughes, who were banging top-level first-team players to develop. That's the equivalent of you guys getting rid of Firmino, Salah, and Fabinho, and promoting 3 youngsters. That is literally the equivalent of what Fergie had to do to create enough game time for those players to be able to develop. And mathematically speaking, there's only enough minutes in the game there's only a certain amount of minutes in the game. You can't spread that across a whole squad. If you've got a bench full of world-class talent, it's only going to last a year, 18 months, and then they're going to say, sorry, I've got to go. Otherwise, their careers will stagnate.
Guys, I got a question.
Can I say something?
For the Liverpool player, for the Liverpool
sorry,
fans.
go on.
Yeah. We've got a lot of good players, like decent players out on loan. But the problem is that they want game time. Do you think that we should sell these lot, or do you think we should just persuade them to stay and help us build a dynasty or something? So we got Harry Wilson, Marco Grujic, Ryan Brewster,
Ben Woodburn or something.
Yeah, but he sort of dropped off.
He's trash.
Chayo Awaniyi, who's done well at Mainz. There's so many good players that are out on loan. What do you think we should do with these lot?
I don't rate. There's a lot of them players that I don't rate. I know Brewster was tipped to be something special. He's proven it down in the Championship. But when we gave him game time, he didn't do anything. I think Harry Wilson, he's got a cracking left foot, but I think that's literally the only dimension to his game. I don't think he'd offer anything more than what Origi already does in our team.
If you want a good free kick taking, there you go. There's your guy, isn't it?
Well, that's it, yeah. But
do you know what? Do you know how good of a position Man City are in with Phil Foden on the bench? Do you realise how good of a position they're in? They've got all these world-class players. They can buy more if they want, and they've got Phil Foden, who arguably could be the best midfielder Arsenal would have if he came into Arsenal. and they've got him
Yeah.
on the bench to pull out maybe
Yes.
10 games a
But
season.
but
That is
you know
what Liverpool need.
You know the promise has been made.
He's
You know the
replacing David Silva.
He was given the promise 12 months ago because David Silva told the club he was going to leave, that you are the heir to the throne. Now, if in the summer a replacement is bought, a high level signing is made, and he continues to be on the bench, in 12 months' time, Phil Foden will leave, because there comes a point with all the talent in the world, you have to get game time. And that's the point. I say it all the time to people. No one likes hearing it, but it's the damn truth. You can only have so many. Go back to Chelsea, 04, 05, 06. Your bench could win the league. It disappeared after 2 or 3 years because the players like, yo, I don't want to sit on the bench anymore. I want to play. Otherwise, your career stagnates. And you know, every now and then you get lucky. You get an Ollie. You get an Ollie Solskjaer that's just happy if he doesn't start for 5-6 games, and that's great when you get a player like that. But they're few and far between. They really are, man. They're not happy for it, really, you know, to be sitting there doing that. And, you know, a lot of Liverpool's youngsters are talented, but like a lot of Chelsea's youngsters, it's great being good in the youth levels, reserve levels, but man's football is man's football. And it's also about your attitude. You know, I watched a really good documentary recently about Kiko Makeda. Now, Kiko Makeda at youth level and reserve level was killing it. Man was scoring. I think he scored, like, in reserve games, 4 weeks running, scored a hat-trick. Just like, it's too easy for him. But his problem was he got into the first team, and he admits it now. He's nearly 30. He says, I stopped working. I thought I'd made it. I stopped working hard enough. Rene Mullenstein at Man United spoke about how James Wilson, who scored a brace on his debut, same as in the Premier League, and Adnan Januzaj, when they got into that first team, he said, rather than putting in extra hours training, they should just be almost. The only thing missing when they were sitting in the jacuzzi at the end of the game was girls and some alcohol. They just thought they were the big balls now, like they'd made it. They stopped working hard. What's the class? What's the class of '92 documentary? There's a player that's interviewed on there who was the star player of that youth academy, and he says the reason he's now laying bricks. And he said, the reason I'm here and Scholes and Giggsy and that are all over there is one reason, and one reason only. When training would finish, those boys would go out onto the training ground for 3 extra hours and practice their crossing, their passing. Gary Neville was the most that did the extra training because he really up at that age, needed it. This guy used to take, because he was on quite good money at this point. He was like £400 a week in the late 80s, early 90s. He'd take his money and go down the Arndale Centre and try and pull girls. That was the difference. And I'm not saying that's what Liverpool or Chelsea Academy players are doing, but it's about hard work. And then on top of the hard work, you need game time. Without it, you are never going to become a top-class player. It's never going to happen, in my opinion.
No, especially in today's game as well. It was a bit more like you were a bit more possibility was a bit higher to get in back in like the 90s but now you fitness regimen on its own is just has to be through the roof, especially in these top clubs.
Yeah,
I understand what you're saying completely with that. Yeah.
Well, I think it's you can look at each other's clubs as reflection on this, and you've all seen improvements in your own players. But it was an interview that Anthony Martial gave this week, and it was so insightful. And he basically said that Ollie told me I've got to work a bit harder, run a bit harder, get a bit more stuck in, and it would improve my game, and it would improve the way Man United fans what they thought of me. And you see the man doing it. The way the goal against Aston Villa is like the epitome of it, where he's battling for the ball. I never seen that from him, really. I've seen him square up to a few man in flashpoints. But
that Trippier square was hilarious, fam.
Yeah, that isn't what I look when I say I want an aggressive player. I'm not really talking about that. When I mean aggressive, again, one of the things I loved about Wayne Rooney and Carlos Tevez was the way if they lost the ball, they go hunting for it. Now, I don't want that from every single player. I actually think that kind of attitude probably cost Rooney an extra 5 or 6 goals a season because he ran himself into the ground during games doing that. But maybe then we wouldn't have won the games if he wasn't doing that. So you can't quite say. But I just think there's an element of just listening to your managers, working hard in the right moments, and then having that right attitude. And attitude's so key. And that's the one thing I say about Liverpool, why you've been great for the last few years. There is a relentless attitude where it got to a point as a rival fan where it's pissed me off because I just watch games and it's like, hey, stop. Like you got a next door neighbor that doesn't turn their music down. It's 4 a.m. They've still got house music now. That's Liverpool for me. When I'm watching you, it's like they don't stop. They're getting on my nerves. But there we go.
Terry, can I ask everyone here, put your hands up if you would have took Giroud as a bench player to come off the bench for you? Squad player.
What?
Olivier Giroud.
Would you take Giroud as a squad player?
Yeah.
Currently is one.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
I would. Yep.
So there you go. So that's one that Liverpool missed out on. Liverpool could have got him instead of Chelsea. That was a way of collecting more goals and resting Salah and changing the system.
Yeah, but that's looking.
And he would have scored more
and
goals than
looking
Firmino as well. So
Salah won't want it.
Actually, I think Giroud would be probably a better fit to your system than Firmino.
How?
Slightly even better. No, I think Firmino. No, I think Firmino would. Giroud would also fit that system. Is what I'm saying.
Wait. Right.
How?
Let's just get this debate out in the open, yeah? Because I'm the first one to say that I'm not happy with Firmino's goal scoring.
No, this is not me hating on Firmino. I'm just saying that I think he does a similar job, like what he does for France.
Absolutely not. But let's just get this debate out.
Okay, fair enough.
Right, so
That's fair enough.
the Firmino goal slander and stuff like that. Let's just get this debate out of the way. I'm the first to slander his goal scoring stats this season because I think he should be scoring more, especially with the opportunities that he creates in the positions that he's in. But it's clear to see that there's this massive thing with rival fans where they just don't appreciate what he does on the pitch, or you don't fully understand what he does to that front three.
yeah, no, I would say that I would listen, people. I know I'll come with this slander, but I come for the slander for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think Bobby Firmino is a fantastic footballer. What he can do with a football, most Premier League footballers could wish they could do that with a football, innit? Like, don't get it twisted. He's a great player, but for me, for what it is with me is that I've seen him score 27 goals in the season.
KJ.
And I've seen no, Bam, shush, let me have my piece. I've seen him do it, and I understand there might have been a role change, or there might Klopp might be in his ear saying, just hold back a bit with certain things. But what's happened is for me, it's to a point where like the drop off didn't need to be so much. Like, he's been in positions this season where you say goal, and he's missed. And for me, if you're not going to always be scoring, at least score the chances that you're in, especially the easy ones.
My point is that there are players who can do what Firmino does, like link Salah and Mane into play, as well as also score goals. Like also Thomas Muller can do that.
How about Lacazette?
He's trash.
Very
Thomas Muller. No, like I asked Rams today.
Lacazette's got good hold up play.
Yeah, but he's trash. I was talking to Rams earlier today, and I said, would you swap Firmino for Thomas Muller? Liverpool fans, would you guys do that?
Remember what I said as well. Like,
Ron, I swear, if I find out that you backed out and you said, yeah, I'd swap him, I'm getting terrible.
Everyone knows. No.
I'm giving you guys. I'm saying there are other players that can do what Firmino does, but also will get you goals, especially in moments when you do need them.
Like you mentioned Thomas Muller.
The only player I would say that can do that in the world.
Go on, Sam.
Can do it.
The only player I can say that can do that in the world is probably Benzema.
But you're not getting him. So it's what I say to people. It's realistic. It's like someone said to me the other day, well, would you not prefer Van Dijk?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Would you prefer Van Dijk over Maguire? Yeah, but we're never signing him, so I can't think like that.
I think that's what they're trying to do with Minamino. I think that's what they're trying to do with Minamino.
Minamino.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, Minamino, that could take 3-4 seasons. You need someone now, don't you?
Are you sitting in the toilet? That's very echoey. That's like man. You know what I mean? Okay, cool.
Come on, you don't have to do me like that. Come on, Terry. We're boys.
We are boys. I said it. I wouldn't say that to someone that weren't a boy. That's not how you talk to someone that you don't like or get on with. That's how you speak to a boy.
Oh yeah, wait, but guys, would you swap Thomas Muller for Roberto Firmino? I wouldn't know.
I said no.
I wouldn't.
No. We've got all no's. What did you say?
Yeah, this is what I'm saying.
Hang on.
Show's looking into your eyes, Ram. He's looking into your soul.
My point isn't Muller exactly. My point is, like, 3 players, Giroud, Muller, even Kai Havertz could play that kind of false nine
just
role.
To be frank, yeah.
I
love Thomas Muller. I love how the way he plays. And it's just me as a personal preference. I love Thomas Muller. That's why
I also love Maldini. You've never seen him play, but so
bro, I didn't play. Allow it, bro.
Ram, what did you say?
Ram, just let Ram speak now. Ram, go on. What did you say?
I said Thomas Muller.
the worst Liverpool fan.
Bro, I love Thomas Müller. Man.
You know, Ram, you have to back it, fam. You have to back it no matter what.
Incredible.
Bro, it's Müller, man. It's Müller.
If the levels aren't, Ram, if the levels aren't like this, like, if the levels aren't like that, you have to back your player, fam.
They're so disappointed in you. It's mad.
You know what does my head in about these conversations? You might be able to sign Müller now, but he's past his best. It's like the players the only strikers that anyone ever names that would be better than Firmino in that position aren't buyable. They're not. If you can't buy them, it becomes like someone said to me before, I could list 10 centre backs better than Maguire. They did, and every single one of them is unavailable on the transfer market. So what are we meant to do? Buy no one. It doesn't make any sense. It's good banter. This is what happens. This is the problem with the banter of football. It's where banter gets taken as serious, like the Maguire marking his own defender. I thought it was funny, and then I'm seeing Man United fans have meltdowns, giving it. I can't believe he's doing it. He's absolutely brain dead, and you're thinking, no, that's you. You honestly, these people can have children. These people have to breed, and they think like it. It's a madness, bro. Ram, you had one job.
It's Müller. I can't help it.
Yo, Ram, the RDL, the Ram Defense League came for you, and you've already disbanded it yourself, fam.
Yeah.
Right.
I can't help is bro. I respect what Müller does, man. Like what Müller does.
Firmino's part of your greatest ever Premier League team. You don't respect him.
By the way, I just need to point this out as well to you all. Next time we speak about a Man United player with the surname Rashford, we are not accepting on this channel anything other than Dr. Rashford. If anyone calls him Rashford or Marcus, if the doctor isn't used, locked off. It's Dr.
Rashi, fam.
What about KBE? What about KBE? Sir.
Sorry?
What about Sir? What about Sir?
Well, he hasn't been knighted yet, bruv, has he?
Yeah, but he should be knighted.
Sir, Doctor.
Yeah.
I would accept it. Sir, Iron Man, Rashnaldo, Dr. Rashi.
Dr. Rashi sounds like the guy you go to when you've had a dose, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dr. Rashi, man, I got the clap. Yeah, got this, mate.
Right, quick one. So obviously, we've got mad love for you. This is a show for the people, correct?
Yeah.
I feel like we need to put something to the vote. I think Ramney is like a weak ban for not backing Firmino. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I'm actually quite annoyed. Like, so all those in favour.
Put your hands up,
Yes, can I have two, fam? Can I have two?
See you, mate. Rams out. Like Liverpool.
Hey, I told you the RDL came and he just ruined his own defense league. How's he done that, fam?
The worst thing is, I actually messaged you.
Goodbye message. Do you want to say goodbye message, Ram? Because this is it for a week. Actually, we'll have you back on when you get beat by Chelsea in a week.
What if we don't?
If you don't, see you guys tonight.
Yeah, Ram, even okay. What if they don't, fam? Ram, what if you win? What are you doing,
man?
What are you gonna do, bro?
You know how much respect I have for the guy, bro.
This guy's I messaged KJ last week asking him to leave you alone. And you repay me like this.
Stro, you shouldn't have bothered.
I love how they all went, oh yeah, definitely.
Can we move on from this conversation? Because this is embarrassing for me.
I love the fact that you guys didn't even have to think about it. And Rams was like,
I don't know how we have done this. We've turned one of the best champions of this country ever, with the help of Ram, into a bit of a joke club.
Ram's an inside agent. I'm convinced he's not a Liverpool fan.
Yeah. He's like Goldbridge. He supports Forest. He supports Forest, really. Not Goldbridge, man.
Nah, he's a United fan.
Nah. Yo, I'm trying not to laugh because
his
Sam is
profile
so pissed off in the bottom
his
corner.
profile picture is a picture of Maldini, so he doesn't have a Liverpool player.
This is what
I've never seen him in a Liverpool kit. I've never seen him in a Liverpool kit. I've never seen him praise Liverpool. He never gets angry when you bait him on it, but he doesn't stay calm either. He just it's like he's not listening. Do you get what I mean?
Of all people, we got Allison.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Wait.
You always show that jersey all the time. Where's your other Liverpool jerseys?
No, Prime, please.
Do you want me to go upstairs and get them?
Prime, let me finish this guy.
Don't wake mum and dad.
Wait, let me finish this guy. Liverpool fans, would you rather have Allison or Oblak?
Alisson.
Alisson, you got Alisson. Yeah, he's got an Alisson shirt, and he said Oblak.
No, I didn't. No, don't lie. Don't lie. Don't lie. Don't lie.
I swear I didn't. I swear my life.
Oh, you know, like when you were younger and you had like siblings and something happened and you'd go to your mum and like, no, I didn't, don't lie.
my little brother did that once, right? So I caught him. My dad was very strict about us eating the food because, like, there was 5 boys, so there was a lot of food that was needed, but it was needed to last for the week, right? Working class things. And I remember my dad would buy like a multi-pack of like penguins or something. And my little brother was in the kitchen, right? And I knew he'd stole one. And I'm like, we're not really grasses, but it's like, I'm going to grass him up there because my dad's going to slap his ass. You know what I mean? Like, we were from that generation where you got a little whack at it. I was like, I'll get my brother in trouble now. I was like, Dad, Billy's nicking the penguin. My dad's like, and he come in and Billy styled it. I don't know how he hit it. He was like, search me, whatever. My dad didn't properly search me. My dad went there, he goes, okay, Terry, what? I got in trouble. Terry, why are you lying? Why are you lying? My little brother styled it, right? He didn't, no, I didn't do it. Like Ram did. And then like, search me. My dad kind of like felt his pockets and went, all right, checked his back, nothing under his t-shirt. Cool. Brother then sat there. My brother sat there for 40 minutes watching the TV. Right? And I'm sitting there fuming because I've only had tears in my eyes. So like, I got in trouble when I know he nicked it. But I don't know where it had gone. Because my dad was out there straight away. Nowhere for him to hide it, like in a cupboard, anywhere else. Looks, couldn't find anything. Billy then stands up because I'm going to go in my room now. My dad's like, okay. My dad's like, okay, Bill, don't worry. Because like being all nice to him. And as he stood up and took the foot, it had slipped out of his pants and it went down his trousers and it fell on the floor. It was one of the greatest moments of my life. It fell out on the floor. And my dad did it. And all I just remember is hearing the clap around my brother's head, like the Brady's head. It was a big moment. Ram reaction of, no, I didn't. That's a liar. That's exactly how Billy acted.
I didn't.
And
I didn't.
Ram
Down his pants.
Stroh's your dad, so when he sees you, just gonna.
I am not saying that foolishness. No.
Ram. Be honest. Did you, Ram? Be honest. The other day, did you not say you'd rather have Oblak than Alisson? Do not lie to. Do not lie to me, Ram.
No, Dave. Dave, I'm on the Ram Defense League right now. I'm calling him BS on this. Shut up, bro.
Hey, I'm telling you,
I don't know where you got this information from.
I remember it.
When did this happen? During Pro
I can't remember when.
Exactly, bro. Because it's nonsense, bro. Shut.
No. He definitely said it. I know he said it.
Is it in the group chat?
No. You know what I said? I said, who's the best goalkeeper in the world? Alisson or Oblak? And he said Oblak. He knows it as well.
Okay, I remember that. Because we were talking about goalkeepers and stuff. So yeah, I remember that.
Look at the stress levels.
Because it's bullshit.
Prime, I trust Prime because he's Irish. Did it happen?
Yeah, because I remember we were talking about goalkeeping.
English lie. We lie a lot, the English.
Yeah, you can't trust David, man. My man thinks he can take on Marcus Alonso. He's a fool.
Oh, bro, the things that he says, the bullshit that comes out of his mouth, honestly.
Actually, Liverpool.
No, let me say this. David thinks that he could play right wing up against Marcus Alonso and beat him every time.
Not every. I've never said that. Never said that. I said if I played against Marcus Alonso, I have a decent chance of beating him.
Yeah, listen, Dave. That ain't happening. So shut up. All right, Liverpool fans. Who do you fear the most next season? I know Ram's gonna say Man United, so we can leave Ram alone. Stroh and
Nottingham Forest. I'm gonna say Nottingham Forest.
I told you he's a Forest fan. Look at him.
Ourselves?
Wait, what?
That's a brilliant answer.
No, that's good. It's good.
Nah, and I'll tell you why. Because the point I made earlier, if we stay stagnant and we don't do anything, we're gonna mess it up for ourselves. So we will give. You won't take it from us. We'll just do what City did and just completely fall apart. And that's my biggest worry. So my biggest fear for next season is us, nobody else. I don't care what other teams do. I don't care how other teams strengthen. I never have and I never will. Do I want United to get back to the peak of the powers? Yeah, because I want that rivalry. Because it's the biggest rivalry in England. And you Chelsea fans can sit there and be quiet for a minute. This is big boy talk.
Personally, I would say Man United get relegated. Just saying.
Stroh's my favorite, man.
Just say this. Someone said Rams Andy's coming in the room soon.
And what?
Your aunties.
Nah, man. I don't live with my aunt.
Do you know what? So I agree with I get where Stroh's coming. I think the only way Liverpool don't win the league next year is if they have an almighty capitulation. I think they'll be good enough to. But again, I also get what Samuel means about he would want Liverpool United to get relegated. I get that. I enjoy watching Liverpool get relegated. But there is this part of me now, and I know it happened a little bit in the 60s, I believe, because I was watching a documentary about United, where every other year, like our teams are winning it. But what wasn't happening back then, if you go back and do the research, Man United in the 50s and 60s didn't have a heated rival. It wasn't like it is now. It was, oh, we want to beat you, but it was quite friendly, actually.
Yeah, it was quite really friendly.
Yeah.
It was like
It's like Ram. It's just like Ram.
Ram's a time traveler. He's coming from 1962.
That's why you love Maldini. I get it now. You're an old man.
Liverpool fans, are you guys favourites next season?
Yes.
Yeah, I said this already.
Yes.
But the point I was making about the rivalry is just simply this. It would be unprecedented in our times for the biggest two teams in the world, the biggest two teams in the Premier League, to go neck and neck for a 3 or 4 year period for titles. It would just be every game. You know, like I see this because of the shows I do. What we normally go through is a cycle of the first 3 months of the season. Unless you go on a really bad run, no one gets overly emotional about the results in either direction because it's so early. But I think if Man United and Liverpool go neck to neck, head to head, every game, every point, every goal would matter. And it would just be epic. And it might not then happen for another 40 odd years. You know, it'd be like, 27 years. Like, you know, you've seen the film It, like over 27 years, he comes back. That's how it could be. Like, it could be a long time. So, yeah, I'm desperate for it to happen. All you then hope for is when it does, it's a bit like the first time Liverpool played Man United in the Champions League game. I want it to happen, but then I just pray we're on the winning end. Because if it happens once and you lose, like...
when we lost to them in the Europa League...
Like, imagine you've got 6 and we've got 3. But if we beat you in a Champions League final or vice versa, it would just be the worst pain. Like, how many you've won outside of that, I don't even think would matter anymore. But that's the way away.
When we played Tottenham.
Yeah, I bet. Well, we had Chelsea, didn't we, in the All English final? And I remember feeling like it would be the worst feeling. And that was the worst
pain. That was the worst pain.
That was mad. That game, right? I remember watching it. I watched it with 2 Arsenal fans and 3 Liverpool fans and a couple of United. Like all my boys from London. They were all cheering when we won the penalty shootout. And I just remember them all saying the same thing. This is how everyone felt about Liverpool, my generation, felt about Chelsea at the time. Everyone said football won. That was it. That was how it was in 2008.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
that's true because at the time, I had a little bit of a thing with Chelsea. I don't know what it was. I just did not like them at all, and I think that was the probably like everybody's feeling towards them. Chelsea, everybody had a hate towards them. I can't even remember why at that time.
It's because it's the buy-in.
It was the way they got the money and the way they went buying in the market. It ruffled a lot. It annoyed a lot of people for the way they went about it. Remember, they were doing it. There was no financial.
And they were flaunting it, saying that we got all the pennies. I remember they used to do. I think looking back, I think it was in the documentary. They used to like get some cash out, just thing it in the air, saying, "Yeah, we got money and we can buy it."
We were City before City.
It was the City because there wasn't financial fair play, but on top of that, it was like you played dead football as well. It was my definition of my definition of Chelsea in that time was you were a rich man Stoke with the way you played football. It wasn't
1-0, 1-0.
What's dead football? It's winning football, not attractive football.
No,
it's not. No, because
Prime. Would you say Arsenal played attractive football today?
No, but they won.
They won, bro.
No, personally, for me, it was really enjoyable. For me, it was really enjoyable. But I also like Simeone's football as well. So I like defensive football.
So that's what matters.
No, but for me,
David, you're missing the point. So people's issue with Chelsea wasn't. Simeone does that because they do spend some money on players. They have over the years. But it's like, okay, we have to play this way because we don't have the resources. If they had Barcelona's resources, they wouldn't want to play that kind of football. Chelsea was spending more money than anybody else, but then they were playing negative football. And from whether it's jealousy, bitterness, frustration, there was almost a resentment around you're spending all that money and you're dead. Like the football isn't. It was just annoying people, and then there was the arrogance of it as an example. They know history and everything else, and the people that there was already a rivalry between Tottenham. People don't realize that Abramovich was like moments away from buying Tottenham before he bought you guys, and then
imagine.
And then it all went
elite opinions would be
Elite
unbearable.
opinions would be
Oh
walking
my
with
God.
style.
To be fair, it was after us as well.
They tried to buy
No,
Liverpool. You got literally Chelsea don't care, but you were literally like sloppy second, sloppy third type thing. Like he didn't want you.
I don't care. Champions League's on that. Champions League, Europa League.
It's because they finished fourth that season, didn't they? They drew against.
We beat you in the last game. We beat you again in the last game.
Yeah, Gronkiar got the winner.
Yeah.
Yes, but bloody Gronkiar.
No. But boys, listen, I appreciate you all coming on and having your say. I appreciate you coming on tonight. I'm going to get a little bit of an early night because last night was far too late and knackered. I think last night's stream was about 3 hours again. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was mad.
There we go. I'm not too sure if I'll have to chat with Alec. I think he was a bit late. He thought it was a pure little
one segment.
He couldn't deal with the group settings, fam. It's okay, man.
Trust me, I'm telling you that most top level YouTubers wouldn't enjoy these kind of streams. One, because it gets quite noisy, and two, like we respect each other, but there's no arrogance. It's like, I don't care if you've got 1 million followers, you're gonna get disrespected and bantered. That's the whole point. You know what I mean? Like when I see some of these big YouTubers go on other people's shows, everyone pussyfoots around them, and I'm like, oh come on, man! Like fucking let them have it. Like it's the whole point. But there we go. Listen, everyone who's tuned in at home, thank you. Hit the like button, share button, retweet button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you all again soon. Bye bye.